Yo, what is up, All right, so I did say that I would talk about my situation from last year that happened this time. So here I am, I want to do it. And, all right, so the shit's not actually, all right, I'm laughing at this shit. The shit's funny, at the same time, the shit is not funny at all. It's a very serious situation. So part of it is like kind of to raise awareness, the type of shit that be going on in dudes' lives or in dating in general. And the other part is because the shit is fucking comical. All right, so we're gonna talk about last October. So last October, for those of you who know, it was my first time in Atlanta, and I was out here visiting, and I visited for give or take about 2 weeks. I didn't know where exactly. This was my first time down here, and all that shit. So had a lot of fun. Me and the crew came down. Brittany, MJ, Dara, and Crystal. For the trip, I broke up with the girl I was dating, and we have been dating since I think July. August, September. So we had dated for 90 days. So those who also know me know that my relationships typically only last, say it with me, 90 days. So that's like that's like literally honestly my time frame of 90 days since my last 3 relationships, which ended in 2016. So typically 90 days and it's kind of over. Why do I have girlfriends and they only last 90 days? Your guess is as good as mine. But also probably means I stopped actually getting relationships until I know for sure that it's like going to be a thing that works out. Right. So first thing first. So since like everybody posting the red flags, it was 1,000 red flags that I had seen, and I turned that bitch to a straight carnival. Not even gonna hold you up. It was a carnival in that motherfucker, and I sat there, and I was literally like, all right, cool. Red flags. I like the color red. Boom, boom, boom. We're gonna go from here, and we're gonna turn that shit to a motherfucking party. Bad idea. The shit almost stressing me out. I'm gonna take a shot of Hennessy real quick. A little bit back to my relationship. We met the week I turned 32. Turned 32 in March 2020. Those of you remember what happened in 2020 in March, the lockdown came. So we actually met the week before lockdown. We were already social media friends. We ran together at a party. Oh, that's cool. Have a lot in common. Whatever. Met her. We fucking made up the same day, which I know is a red flag, but she didn't remember it. That was the actual red flag that she didn't remember the shit. I'm like, you do this often, I think. All right, so that's what happened. So then we ended up talking, getting to know each other. So like, because we're in COVID, it's a lot easier to spend more time together because neither one of us are like going to she's not going to her office and I'm not going to the gym because the gyms are shut down. So it's a lot easier for us to sit there and talk all day. And that's kind of what we did. Talk consistently, literally like all day, every day. Like hang out at nighttime. We just pull up somewhere and just hang out, pull up to the crib, we hang out, we just talk. It was like hours. And that was kind of like how things progressed so quickly in COVID. And like this, COVID is new for everybody. So for people who don't know, like that's not one of them things that you would expect, like for like shit to be weird in. So I'm like, cool, it's COVID, kind of progress things, bet. So we get into a football relationship. Going into what's happening in between the relationship, from like before the relationship started, she stood me up 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row, she stood me up. And when she told me why she stood me up, it made sense. So I let it go. I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. But at the same time, I didn't really get it. And her justification was, I was like my relationships end badly, and it seemed as if I just hate all my exes and I don't respect them. I was like, I don't even know how you got that. Like, my relationships don't end the worst, but they don't always end on good terms. Actually, they've never ended on good terms. When I think of one has ended on good terms. And she's like, that's a problem. I'm like, okay, whatever. So let the shit go. I'm like, I respect how people feel. So we talked again, we kept hanging out. So then at that point, officially, I moved into a relationship. Now in the process, because like I'm single, people I was still messing with. So I slowly started cutting people off. And somehow the conversation came up about if I was still fucking anybody, like, while we were, like, getting to know each other. So, my ass, I don't lie. So, yes, told the truth. I was still messing around with somebody. One of them people happened to be one of my exes. I was kind of like messing around with. Nothing too crazy, but messing around with one of my exes. And she seemed to be very understanding. Key word was seem. And she seemed very understanding about the situation. I'm like, okay, cool, bet. So far, we already got the red flags that she stood me up twice, like 2 days in a row. She stood me up with no explanation until afterward. And then 2 second red flags that she asked me if I was fucking with anybody while we were getting to know each other, which I feel like it would be a common sense answer because we're grown. So 2 red flags I missed right there. Boom, bam, bam, we in there. All right, so finally, we ended up like spending weekends together to finally get our relationship, and everything seemed totally fine. Right? She seemed very honest. I was honest with her. We went and got. I do this. I've done it for a while, but we went and got STD tests together because I'm like, yo, shit happens. In relationships, condoms break. Sometimes you don't use condoms. Motherfuckers eat pussy, people suck dick. So like, there's things that happen in a relationship that you want to make sure you're safe for. Like, cool, we're fucking with each other. That's totally fine. Boom, got it. We're good there. All right. So in a relationship, there are times where we didn't use condoms, which happened. She was also birth control, and also pull out. All right, cool. There we go. I put it out there. And this happens in a relationship. So it gets to the point where August hits. We're probably in a relationship for maybe over 30 days. Then she starts getting fucking weird. Right? So it starts getting every other day there's some new shit that pops up that I did wrong. And it's like this is I don't typically use the word toxic. I use the word toxic a lot. That's a lie. I always use toxic. But narcissist and gaslighting are 2 things that you typically won't ever hear me say. Because I just don't use those things because 1, I didn't really understand what the fuck gaslighting actually was. Even though I've been gaslighted by ex before, but I didn't really know what gaslighting was, so I didn't want to use the shit because I didn't understand it. Toxic, knew what toxic was, and narcissist, I've never actually dated narcissist before. So this is the first time this shit's happened. And this wasn't some shit that somebody actually pointed out to me for the first time they met her. And it was like, yo, this shit, like something about her rubs me the wrong way. I'm like, no, she's great. Hey, my fucking advocating ass. Popped up to a place. Oh, 3rd red flag. She actually fucking went out. We ended up going somewhere. And she ended up being fucking rude to my friends because she had just met them. Oh, I'm super shy. I let the shit go. So I literally let the shit go. And I ended up getting told one of my friends about the situation, which I needed that argument to happen anyway because there was a lot of shit that was going on that kind of came out on the table. But that particular day, she was a tad bit rude. She was fucking rude to my friends. Didn't speak, kind of like blew them off, whatever. Even then, we went out to eat. I brought her back to meet them, and she was still a little bit standoffish. I'm like, okay, cool, you're fucking weird. Anybody who knows me, I'm a super social person. I talk a lot. I meet everybody. So for me, I do a lot of networking and stuff, which means I'm sociable. I have to be for my job and for my business, and I'm also a fucking nice person. So people fuck with me because they fuck with me. Point blank, period. That's what it is. And we don't have a conversation later about the situation at hand, and this is when shit started getting weird because she started like nitpicking at 2 of my friends for the most part. And I'm like, okay, that was fucking odd because one of them I understood because she was the fucking rude one, but the other one didn't really make sense. I'm like, she doesn't really say anything. She doesn't really say shit. Like when I say like she's love her to death, but she do a lot of shit that she be oblivious to that be happening, and she don't say shit about it. I'm like, I thought it was odd that you picked that motherfucker out of all people. I'm like, okay, cool, bet, no big deal. La la la. That was another red flag, by the way. Just red flags everywhere. I ignore this shit. I'm like, you know, people are socially awkward. Everybody can't be like me. So this is me gaslighting myself, making excuses for somebody else's behaviors. because that was what I wanted to do at the time. All right, so boom, here we go. Here we go with that part. Fast forward, so September comes, and there's shit happening in between. Like, I'm not gonna go, it's too much detail, but shit happened in between. So September comes. Remember I told y'all about the situation about me fucking with one of my exes when me and her first met? Why did that come back up into a conversation? And it didn't come back up on a phone conversation. It came through a fucking text message. Hey, why did you fuck with your ex still when we first started talking? And I told her the exact same answer. Well, we were talking, and one thing kind of led to another. Like, I didn't know I had feelings for her. I know she really had feelings. So we just started like kind of like talking or whatever. Responds to me, but literally as soon as the message goes through, you know what? That's not what you told me the first time. I'm done. Fuck you and all your shit. You go be with that bitch. You gonna be with her so bad. I remind you, I haven't talked to my ex at this point for maybe like 5 or 6 months. Let me see. 5 months I haven't talked to my ex at all. Like, blocked on everything. I not spoken not one word to her since this situation. And it was like, hey, that was fucking weird because nothing about this situation even made sense, right? And the fact that she literally sent the message as soon as mine went through was mean she already pre-wrote the message before I responded. So regardless of what the fuck my response was, she was already ready to do it. And she would break up with me rim like every other week. I'm not ready for a relationship, or this is too much, I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, this is fucking awkward. Like, this is fucking weird. And I told, again, more red flags into the situation. I'm like, okay, she has a fucking problem. And I ain't gonna lie, I was already having a rough day. I had a good week that week. That particular day, I was like, I had a rough morning and I had a good rest of my day. And I'm like, cool, this is fucking great. I'm excited. Can't wait to share with her like how great this fucking day was, and I get that shit. So at that point, yes, I fucking cried. I broke down crying that fucking day. My sister walked in the room, like, oh, it's gonna be okay. And I'm like, no, nigga, it's not gonna be okay because something's fucking wrong. And in my head, I'm like, why the fuck do I keep going through this shit with fucking crazy ass women? Keep running ass breakups, and why the fuck does she keep doing this shit to me like every single fucking time? So, the very next day, we ended up talking again. I called her. We talked through shit. So why did I call her? I have no fucking idea. I should have left that shit where it was at that particular day right there. We ended up talking that particular day. And she ended up apologizing like, oh, I'm so sorry, blah, blah. I was having a rough day, all this other shit. I'm like, yeah, whatever, bro. We ended up she's like, yo, I'm going to a party tonight. Can you please go with me? I don't go with myself. Whatever, so we'll say cool. So the party is like downtown Phoenix. So it's about 30 minutes from where she lives, about 25 minutes from where I live. So I thought we get a hotel room because we'll be out drinking and shit, and it's way easier that way. We like, all right, cool, bet. So I get to the hotel first. She gets there about an hour or two later. Pulls up with a fucking attitude. We literally get into it the minute she walks in. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, I thought we were good. So, end up, things cool, we have a few drinks, we talk, whatever, you know, boom, 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 boom. We end up going out to the party. So we get to the party, we're drinking, having fun, everything is good. And at the point where like, she's like drinking Hennessy straight from the bottle. Like, I don't mean this like small pint. I mean, she was legit fucking drinking Hennessy out the fucking bottle. Like, gulp, 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 gulp. And I'm like, yo, you got a fucking problem. I'm like, this is about to get real bad. So at this point, I'm trying to sober myself up. I'm pissing like a motherfucker. Like, we having fun still. And then we get outside because we're getting ready to go leave. The fucking, waiting for Uber or Lyft, whatever. The Uber Lyft took fucking 35 minutes. And sometime in that process, I became every fucking fuck nigga and bitch. And like, but like, she was belligerently drunk, like trying to like pushing me and shit, fighting me. I'm like, fuck you, piece of shit. You fucking broke ass nigga, blah, blah. Now, mind you, I ain't been broken in not so long. But, you stupid ass ain't shit nigga pushing me and shit, whatever. Like, you got all these fucking bitches. You don't even make time for me. And I could have been with a nigga who actually want to take care of me. I gotta do shit, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm drunk. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, yo, you gotta calm down. And she's like, my niggas and my ex-niggas in the party, I could've went and fucked him instead. I'm like, bro, like, she's losing her fucking shit. So I'm like, okay, cool, for real, I am, at this point, I am, like, legit done. I'm not, like, not fucking with you at all. So we get back to the room. Somehow, something came up with one of her exes, and text message came through. And I had her phone in my hand. I read the shit. I'm like, well, what the fuck? So I asked the question. You ain't even fucking real, man, you bitch ass nigga. Blah, 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 blah. Like, push me and shit. So we up to this hotel room. Like, get the fuck out, nigga, get the fuck out. Pushing me, like, trying to like, kick me out of the room, like, throwing shit at me. I'm like, cool, I'm about to go. So at this point, I am like, fucked up. Like, I drunk like almost a full fifth of Crown. I cannot condone drinking and driving, but I drove home. Off almost a fifth, but I drank almost a fifth. Yeah, I drove home, and I got home by the grace of God only. I fucking text her, like, yo, I made it home. Here's like, in case you forget, ironically, here's what happened. And that's what you said, so like, we're done for real. And then she lost my sister's phone. And then she was like, oh, that's not really what happened. This, that, and the third, like, he's over exaggerating. He read that message wrong, and blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, this nigga's full of shit. Like, she has to be. Like, so, again, this is more red flags being thrown out, like, fucking drinking like crazy, fucking shit up, fighting me out, other shit. So, like, this shit is really fucking wild. At this point, I'm like, I should have fucking been going. Like, I should have not went out with you that night. Then the night before, when she broke up with me, I should have left that shit at that and never talked to her ass again. So, here's where shit gets interesting. She calls me and like, oh, blah, blah, like, you fucked up. You did this, you did that, like, you left me in the hotel room. I'm like, you fucking kicked me out and told me I was a piece of shit and all this other shit. And also punished, yes, I shop at Ross and TJ Maxx. I fucking like that, right? Shirt TJ Maxx. Dope ass shirt. But she was like, you shop at fucking Ross, you broke bitch. I'm like, all right, cool. So anybody knows me, bitch is a fucking trigger word for me. Do not call me a bitch unless you're ready to throw hands. Like, if you're a female, do not call me a bitch unless you're ready for me to give my sister, y'all can, or my cousins, y'all can throw hands. Like, that's how I feel about that shit. So that's where we was at. So all this fucking crazy shit's going on. So like, we talked, but I didn't really see her probably for like, it was a hot minute. It's like, oh, can we meet up and talk? I'm like, my dumb ass, yeah, sure, whatever. So I work next to her. I work next to where she lives at. So we ended up talking one day after work. And then at this point, it's like towards the end of the month, I didn't see her probably for a week and a half. October for me is typically was, for a very long time, was a very fucked up month for me, for shit that happened like from like 2011. October was kind of fucked up. Like, and I told her, I said, yo, it's your first October with me. If like, I'm in a bad mood out the gate. Like, the first comes, she moved overnight, does not fucking matter. I told her, I was like, yo, she moved, blah, blah. I got this wedding coming up I'm about to be in for my little bro. I got to pack so I can go to Atlanta, all this other shit. And then she texted me back, like, I think you lying to me about Atlanta. I'm like, lying to you about what? She's like, I think you're going down there for something else. We're telling me for us. I'm going out looking at apartments and look at areas to live in so that I can move and possibly, if we figure this shit out, like, you come out there when you're ready. Like, I don't feel like you're doing that. I'm like, you think I got that bitch down there? She's like, no. I said, you feel like I'm transporting drugs? I'm a bit serious. She goes, no. I said, so what the fuck are you talking about? Because only two things that can be that are my danger. She's like, no, I just had a dream that you're lying on me. So I'm like, all right, bro, this is like, you know what, this is good. She goes, like, you know what, fuck you. We'll just talk when you get back from Atlanta. We just talk when it's over. I said, all right, like, a month is over or when I get back from Atlanta? She said, I don't know, you can figure it out. All right, so at this point, I was like, all right, cool, bet. I'll see you around. And I meant that shit. What the fuck you mean you gonna see me around, you hoe ass nigga? Oh, that's how you fucking respond to me? So at this point, like, I don't actually give a fuck for real. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm good. I'm not even about to fuck with you for real. Like, I'm kind of over this shit to it. We ended up getting into it. We ended up talking. Had sex like a dumbass. And this is the part where I do fucking toxic shit for no reason. And that's definitely one of the toxic things I did. I fucked her for no reason. I shouldn't did it. Shouldn't did it. Thing on my dick. Doing dumb shit. So, ended up having sex, whatever. Not fucking knowing that she had been on and off her birth control like very consistently. She mentioned coming off of it, and then she came off, went back on, came off again, went back on, and then I thought she went back on, she actually didn't. She was like still consistent on it. And I'm like, all right, my dumb ass. Then after we had sex, found out that she was actually off her birth control because she said it. I had to get a fucking blade for me to get ready to leave. I'm like, yo, please stop talking to me. I don't want to talk to me anymore. We're done. I'm about to leave because all this shit's getting is toxic and way worse than it is. Your fucking friends are toxic and they hate you and you hate me and they're making you do this, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. Now you're making my friends look like the assholes from, not actually, my friend actually defended her multiple times in the situation. So here's the part where she gets fucked up. So the day after I leave, she's blowing my phone up. I'm like, yo, leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to talk to you. I get a fucking email with a PDF attachment with this long ass thing. Oh, after she already called my mom, my brother, my sister-in-law, one of my friends, another one of my friends, everybody on my Facebook blowing their asses up, trying to talk to me. Tell Chris to call me, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, bro, this is fucking weird. And she goes, next time like I say I want to talk to you, please answer the fucking phone. Just so you know, I am fucking pregnant. And this is your baby. And I'm 6 weeks pregnant, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, 6 weeks pregnant. Sends me a fucking PDF ultrasound. So, my dumb ass, I'm at this point, I am fucking heated, not paying attention to anything, and I realized she made a fucking PDF. How the fuck should you get a PDF ultrasound? Didn't think about this shit for literally 72 hours. So I'm like, I am heated. I am like in tears because I am fucking mad. This isn't me hurt tears. This is me, I'm about to burn a fucking world down because I really just fucked up. And I'm like, oh, I gotta figure this shit out. And those who don't know, I had a situation where I got a girl pregnant in 2009 or 10, and we had an abortion. So since then, I've been like, no matter what the situation is, super anti getting an abortion because that shit fucked me up. Don't do that again, all right? She knew this. She fucking knew this, and she used that shit to her advantage. Like, you said you never get another abortion, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, bitch, me in my fucking mouth. She never told your dumb ass that shit. So she made this fucking PDF with the ultrasound. So I was talking to my friends in the house or whatever, and off the gate, somebody goes, that shit don't sound right. Now, how the fuck it don't sound right? They're like, when the fuck did I start doing this? She was like, I ain't been pregnant before. I got pregnant friends. When the fuck did I start doing PDF ultrasounds? And I was like, that makes a little bit of sense. When the fuck did I start doing PDF ultrasounds? So I gotta figure that part out. So I'm like, all right, cool, bet. I can't sleep this night. And in the middle of me like laying down, like maybe like 3 or 4 in the morning in Atlanta, I type in fake 6-week ultrasound. And I'm actually gonna post the ultrasound of what she sent me. And then post the one I found. It said fake 6-week ultrasound. And I said, that's odd. And I went back like 4 pages and I found it. There's a site called Baby Maybe. I need to report you, Big Sharky, and shut the fuck down. But there's a site called Baby Maybe. And she went to the website and created a fake ultrasound. And I did one myself. And you can have it, you can put your name in, the hospital, all the other shit. You can have it emailed to you in a PDF. Decided to message her sister and her in a group message with a picture of the ultrasound and the one that I found, and decided to let them know exactly what I see, exactly what is going on, so don't contact me ever a fucking again. Wake up in the morning, my friend in Arizona finds out what happened. You know what she does? Sends me a fucking ultrasound from that exact same website, that with the exact same 6-week ultrasound, with the exact same shadow, exact same numbers, all that shit. Everything was exactly the fucking same. And I was like, oh, I knew I wasn't fucking tripping. This shit is real. So I'm like, hell yeah, I got her ass. Ain't no way else she'll keep going through with this shit. She was consistent. She was very persistent. And she stayed consistent with the shit. And she literally kept doing this shit. Like, call my mom and shit. My mom called me and, hey, I raised you better than that, blah, blah. I'm like, first off, the streets raised me. Mom did raise me, but the streets raised me too, right? So I'm gonna do the fuck I want to do. I'm just literally going off like on why this shit isn't legit. So I sent my mom the picture of the ultrasound and sent the one that I found and one of my friends sent me. My mom was like, oh, when the fuck I started doing PDFs? My mom 50. She was confused about the PDF situation too. All right, so that shit threw everything off. I'm like, all right, cool, bet. Ain't no way in hell she can keep doing this shit. So then I get this random Facebook message 2 days later from this dude pretending to be her ex-boyfriend, or, okay, I say allegedly, her ex-boyfriend. And I do think it was her. It was actually created for her profile. I have no proof. I do have proof, but in her head, I had no proof that this is going on. So she sends me I got all these messages or whatever. And then I'm calling her. I'm like, yo, I don't know how legit this is, but this thing is threatening to kill you. That's got that point where the dude, her ex, was threatening to kill her if, because she's a piece of shit and she deserved to die. So somehow me and her end up on the phone and I'm trying to tell her what's going on. Well, maybe I deserve to die because I fucked you over and I'm so sorry. And like, I'm gonna just kill this, like me and the baby wanna die together, or some other shit. I'm like, this bitch is fucking crazy. I'm like, yo, what the fuck did I get myself into? I'm like, God, whatever this is, get me the fuck out of it. Like, that's where I was at. She was really, really fucked up. She's going over like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill, like, I'm gonna fucking go out there and get shot up, I wanna die. And then it was like, shit about her kid being a piece of shit. I ain't a message, and then like, I'm like, this is fucking crazy. And it was like, yo, and she slipped up and repeated something that was said in a message that I didn't say yet. And I was like, you're definitely fucking lying. So police are here, and I got a restraining order, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I talked to her through the police microphone, whatever, and we squashed things, and like, I'm gonna move back out of state, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, so you mean to tell me you rode up, this guy, rode up to a hospital with a gun to kill a girl he had a restraining order against, and the police let him talk to her through the police intercom thingy, through the car, to each other at a hospital in the middle of Arizona? And I said, bro, none of that shit even makes fucking sense. And I said, nope, no, I'm at this point, I'm about to get a fucking restraining order because she didn't fake a whole murder attempt on her life in my head just so I can get on the phone with her. And I cannot make this shit up. I have text messages still, like, and screenshots. No, I would not post them on my page. But if you know directly, I actually might let you see them. So all this shit is going on. And I'm like, yo, she is faking a murder attempt with a boyfriend that might not ever actually existed. And some shit that didn't actually really possibly happen. At this point, I'm getting emails from like her cousins, her best friends, all the other shit. Like, shit's getting wild. So finally, I asked for pregnancy, like, yo, like, how you pregnant and not tell me? Blah, blah. So I'm just going, at this point, I'm just going on with this shit. She waits till so somebody in her family was pregnant. I knew for sure was pregnant. Gets around me, gets around her. Then she sends me a pregnancy test a week later when she finally got around somebody who was pregnant. Like, that was odd. That was super odd. That couldn't have worked. I'm like, all right, cool. So whatever. So finally, I get back to Arizona. I'm like, yo, we can meet. So we meet up at a strip mall, and I have 2 pregnancy tests in my hand. I said, here, go take these right now. All right, fine, I'll take it. Prove I'm pregnant. Blah, blah, blah. We get there, she freaking out. I can't believe you disrespecting me. You made me do this shit for real. Made me piss in a public bathroom on a pregnancy test. I'm like, are you doing it taking a pee and pee on sticks? I don't see a big deal. Like, I know it could have been, ladies, I apologize. Because I know that could be kind of traumatizing, doing that type of situation. But I had to do what I had to do. So she never hold the pregnancy test. And she texted me literally an hour later. Okay, you know what? I'll meet with you tomorrow evening or tomorrow afternoon at your sister's house, and we'll take the pregnancy test there. I'm like, cool, bet. I set up my iPad and make sure she got no reason to say I hit her or anything weird like that. So I remind you, we've had sex multiple times. And all of a sudden she gets super gun shy around getting naked in front of me. So she literally, like, here's the princess I brought, and I had one too. So I'm peeling both of them. I'm like, all right, cool, bet. Now, all I hear is her going through her purse in the bathroom and kicking me out, locking the door and closing it, and her going through her purse. I'm like, this is not going to be good. So I give her the pregnancy test, and she closed the door again and pees on him. And then she flips him over and like, oh, you can look at him now. So one said negative, one said positive. I said that was odd because I've taken pregnancy tests before. I never had to flip one over. I had to piss, like, why I piss on it, like, watch it. I never flip one over. And I point out, I said, yo, that test is negative and that test is positive. And she's like, well, just, I don't know, they're both positive. I'm like, are you fucking lying? So she goes like, who we be together still? Absolutely fucking not, you fucking psycho. You're a narcissist and you're fucking, like, you're probably bipolar at this point. So anyway, she goes, oh, well, the doctor's appointment is going to be on this particular day. I said, dope, that's actually my dad's birthday. I already know that she's not pregnant at this point. I already figured it out like a month or so ago. I'm like, bet, it's my dad's birthday. And that means that we can, I can tell him he's gonna be a granddad on his birthday. My dad's in jail, by the way, so it's like I made it super sentimental. So at this point, she gives me the date and told my mom and my friend, I said, I want to tell you right now, on this particular date, December 10th, 6 days before the appointment, she's going to say that she had a miscarriage. And how do I know this, you ask? Because in 2011 and in 2013, guess what happened to me? I had another girl tell me that she was pregnant and that she was having a baby. I was other shit because she was mad at me that we broke up. And so once you go through the first time and you kind of go through the second time, you kind of learn the rhythm to the situation. There's no way in hell that some people don't just assume that the week before the actual appointment that I should fake a miscarriage. So she would tell me like weeks leading up to this. Oh, I'm bleeding a lot. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I had a doctor. Oh, cool. I've been to the hospital. No, it's okay. You don't have to. Don't show up now because I'm bleeding. I'm like, all right, bet. That's fine. I'm not showing up anyway because you didn't fucking go. And she kept doing it. So finally, the day came, December 10th, and I woke up and I called the hospital or the doctor what she had her appointment set for. She really fucking set the appointment. He said, oh yeah, it's this day. I said, oh cool, I'm the kid's father, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's perfect. I can't wait to have you guys in. We can do her appointment, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool, bet. So I text message, hey, how's it going? Just checking in on you. How you feeling today? Oh, I guess you didn't get my email. This long ass fucking email about how she had a miscarriage. Now this is okay, legit. This part isn't actually funny at all. It's actually really fucked up. She sent me this long ass fucking email of what happened over the last few days. So I've been talking to her, and she had a miscarriage, and she had to go get the rest of the baby sucked out, and she didn't tell me because she didn't think I cared enough to even know. And I'm like, bro, this is literally down to a fucking T. I cannot make this shit up. Down to a T, exactly what this shit looked like and what it was. And I was like, bro, she's really doing this shit for real. Like, she's really about to play this game with me. So I literally called mom. I said, yo, what's today? Today's the 10th. I said, what what happened on the 10th? She said, are you serious right now? I screenshot the email to my mom. I said, no, legit. Told my friends, that shit. Like, yo, she did shit down to a fucking T. The week before the appointment, literally Wednesday to Wednesday for the appointment. The week before the fucking appointment, and was like, oh, I had a miscarriage. It's been all this other shit. I'm like, and I can tell a lot of shit was Googled on how she explained it because the verbiage didn't really match up with the rest of the paragraph. I'm like, so you can really just fake this shit for real. So with that being said, that was how that ended. She hit me up a few times after that, like to the point where until I actually moved out of state. But yeah, it was that was unfortunately a situation, and I had to deal with last October. So I had, and again, it's the third time that I've had a girl fake a pregnancy because she was mad at me, and their way of keeping me after we broke up. And that will be the last fucking time, because I'm not doing this shit again. I'm not, like, condoms, like, weird fucking, like, no, absolutely fucking not. Not even playing risk with the biscuit, none of that shit. It's unfortunate, but there's a lot of dudes who go through the situation for females faking pregnancy. That's not some shit like people actually want to play with. But it's really unfortunate that people actually legit do this type of shit because they're mad at dudes that want to get them back. Or for, like, having a baby that's not forcing by saying relationship, it definitely doesn't make me want to ever date you ever again or even talk to you. Like, you're fucking dead to me. You do shit like that. So that was it. That's what happened. All those red flags in the beginning, that shit was not a crime, and I definitely should get the fuck out of Dodge, but I did not. And thankfully, I avoided a very serious situation from a very fucked up individual. So, and the fact that this is like the third time this has happened to me is also fucking baffling. I'm like, yo, there's nothing about me that says that this is the way to keep me. Everybody knows I'm a total fucking dick at some point, but there's nothing about that situation that says, hey, the way to keep Chris around is say that you're pregnant, because that's definitely gonna be a way to keep me around. Like, no, so I wanted to share that because it was unfortunately unfortunate, but very fucked up and funny at the same time. So.